A little known cannabis side effect is sending people to the ER, and the symptoms are pretty shocking. It's called scomiting. Doctors say it's where some weed smokers scream in pain while violently vomiting. Now, the medical term for this is called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS. They say it often starts with mild nausea and stomach discomfort, then ramps up to nonstop vomiting, severe abdominal pain, dehydration, and drastic weight loss. Now, some find temporary relief from hot showers, but that doesn't stop the cycle. Medical experts say the only true way out is stopping cannabis use altogether. And
marijuana scomiting cases on the rise as ER sees painful new trend. Video by Fox 32 Chicago, man. What is scomiting, man? Y'all know I used to be a heavy user of the gas, and I never experienced nothing like this.
All right, I guess for some chronic cannabis users, getting the munchies is the least of their concerns. Get this, over the past decade, ERs are reporting a surge in regular cannabis users showing up with sudden stomach-churning attacks that leave them doubled over in pain, oftentimes a few times a year. Fox Medical Team's Dr. Mike joining us now live to talk about this phenomenon. Dr. Mike, there's a new verb for this. It's called scomiting, okay? It's like a combination of screaming and vomiting at the same time. This sounds awful. What is going on here?
Wow, just from smoking the gas, man. This is how you know that new gas, man, that's it's not the same, man. It's not the same. If you're 25 plus years old, probably by the time, like, you know, when you first started smoking, it's way different now, man. It's just different, which is like, you know, all the chemicals, it's all GMO. Now, I'm over here in Thailand, and, you know, everything over here seems pretty clean, but even then, you know, you do got, I'm assuming some of that stuff is like, you know, they be spraying the THC and the chemicals on it, and, you know, pesticides when they growing. I think it's like hard to avoid all of that unless you're basically growing your own nowadays.
Well, Anthony, if you're a regular user of marijuana, like daily, and it's rather heavy use, and you end up with significant vomiting and abdominal pain, and you're writhing in pain, not feeling well, getting dehydrated, you're going to end up in an emergency room. And that's what we're seeing more and more. Now, for many viewers, they'll be happy to know that I finally brought my brain with me, okay? And basically what happens is, if you use marijuana for prolonged periods of time, it really does affect receptors in the brain that, as you astutely mentioned, have a connection to the gastrointestinal tract. We often talk about feeling hungry when you use marijuana. What this does in heavy users, you end up with intractable nausea, vomiting, and because you have all of that cyclic vomiting and nausea, you can develop the abdominal pain. You don't feel well. You end up in the emergency room. So that's the name of it.
And you know, if you know anything about smokers, like gas smokers, bro, they'll hear stuff like this, and, you know, they may even have the symptoms, and you know what they think the cure is? To roll up again, to smoke again. Man, I've seen it all, man. I've seen people with the flu. I remember back when C-19 was going around. People were literally dead. You know, seeing it was affecting people's respiratory systems, right? And people still smoking, man. Crazy.
It's been around a long time, I think since 2004. Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. That's the technical name for it. The slang is that scomiting. And so got to be aware, if you're using a lot of marijuana and all of a sudden you start developing these symptoms, probably going to go to the ER and get evaluated. And the only treatment is to stop using the marijuana. We can give you some things to try to help.
Oh man. I know the smokers, they ain't listening to that one. He said the only treatment you ain't got nothing else. You ain't got no pills. You don't have any herbs for them. No type of medicine. No cough syrup. The only way to stop is for them to stop smoking. Yeah, these cases we only gonna see more and more, man.
But there's not a lot that we can do for it other than stopping it and giving you IV fluids if you're dehydrated.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty simple solution there. Just cut back on the use. Now, let me ask you this. You said that it's been going on since about 2004. I have heard that over
Man, the way people be addicted to that stuff nowadays is like, that's like telling a crackhead, like, yeah, you know, all your problems will go away if you just stop smoking crack. Like, and they like, what? Are you sure there's anything else I can do?
The years, marijuana, cannabis has gotten more potent. Does that have to do with this whole Scomiting phenomenon?
So, you know, Anthony, you are so astute. I love it. I love it. Yes, the potency has gone up. You know, back in my day, Cheech and Chong, this is not grandma's marijuana. Much higher levels of THC. But some experts
See, I told y'all, man, it's that new gas. That new gas is different, man.
think it might be synthetic marijuana that is causing this. So there's a lot of possibilities. Bottom line is the only thing you can do to get rid of it and stop it is to stop using it. First of all, I don't know how you get through the day if you're using marijuana heavily every single day. I mean, I don't know how you deal with that. And
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, a lot of people, and that's the problem with, like, you know, this doctor. He's very smart guy. But if you've never been that person, I've been that person, so I already know how you get through the day, because you feel like you can't get through the day without it. Like, any type of substance that you're on and you're doing it daily like that, that's your new normal. That's your new normal. I'm talking about wake and bake, you know, do a bunch of bad habits, eat, sleep, all of that, wake back up again in the middle of the day, smoke again, do the same thing, play some video games, do whatever, chill with your friends, and then before you go to bed, I gotta smoke again, to where you're smoking blunts like cigarettes. Yeah, it becomes your new normal. Like, you feel more normal high than when you are sober. You're sober, you're all irritated, this, that, and the third. You got the symptoms of dependency, because a lot of people don't feel like it's addiction, but we can all agree that some people do become dependent on marijuana.
and try to eke out a living. I have no idea. But anyway, that's what you do.
Yeah, the cost-benefit analysis there doesn't really check out here. Scomiting doesn't seem worth it. Let me ask you another question while we have you on the line, Dr. Mike. A set of researchers is now saying that adolescence actually lasts into our early 30s. I am surprised by this. Do you have any insight on what this could possibly mean?
Well, basically, I'll bring the brain back. What these researchers did, they looked at MRI diffusion scans. They use these specialized MRI scans.
I did see this too. So we'll talk about this as well. Basically, they're saying that, like, your brain is still, they say that it's different levels of like when your brain goes through different stages, and like the big ones is like, the first one is when you turn around 9 years old, and then that second one is until like you're around like 26 to 30 years old. So basically your adolescent age is from like 9 years old to 30 years old.
To look at how the brain functioned at different periods of time in life. And they found that in childhood, age 0 to 9, the brain was creating this vast network of connections, sometimes redoing them. And then when you hit age 9 up to about 32, that is the adolescent time when you really get efficient connections happening throughout the brain. Now, after 32, you hit into adulthood, and that's where the brain is quite stable, and you are able to develop things like wisdom, at least for many of us, wisdom, and you have more ability to have crystallized intelligence, as they use the term they use. After 32, things kind of decline a little bit. After 66. So you're adolescent until 32. Adulthood, you're stable. After 66, all hell starts to break loose. Things start to decline, Anthony. And then after 83, you see more of that. But I will.
And of course, like that 66 age, that's going to depend on the how you've treated your body, your temple, and your brain all throughout the rest of your life. Like, of course, if you start smoking crack at 18 years old and do it all the way to 66, your brain probably already been on the decline for like 20 years. But that adolescent age, that's big, because Essentially what they're saying was that you probably start developing wisdom once you get into your 30s, and that more so crystallized intelligence, and that will affect your decision making and your choices. So usually if you haven't fucked your life up before 30, it's a good chance you won't after 30. That's how I kind of see that.
Hey, I happen to take care of a B-17 pilot who's 100 years old, and his brain functions better than mine. So these are super agers, and we're trying to figure out how their brain works better than others at that age. Pretty
I hope
incredible.
you can get to the bottom of that, 102, and still functioning on all cylinders.
Yeah, but they say he's a pilot, and a pilot, his brain is doing a bunch of different stuff, so he's keeping himself active. I think that's a big thing too. But back to the topic at hand, which was the marijuana, right? I think if you're scromiting, and that's crazy to say, like, if you're scromiting and you're having those problems, screaming and vomiting at the same time, definitely take a break. I always see, like, when it comes to the gas, it is a plant. It does have some medical benefits, but if too much of anything is a bad. You can die from drinking too much water. So you just take that and understand that some things are good in moderation, or using it for medical benefits only. But once you start to abuse it and use something every day, you're probably gonna see the dark side of it. That's for sure. Y'all let me know if y'all have experienced this before, though. Is anybody scromiting right now while watching this video? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, love y'all. I'm out.